Hey everybody, my name is Morgan, and welcome to this special bonus episode of Podcast of the Dragon. My wife is a first-time reader and is in the eye of the world. She's been reading it for a long time and is being quite thorough about it, and is also just a busy human being, so it takes her a while. But she has lots of thoughts and feelings and predictions, and sometimes we get into some pretty interesting conversations about the Wheel of Time. And this is content that I generally release on my Patreon in a format that I call Pillow Talk with Pillow Friends, because of course I do. Anyway, for my birthday, we decided that we would record some chapter reacts, and I would just generally try to collate it together into a pretty decent episode, and I think I've done that. So, kick back, relax, and listen to Abby and I talk about her thoughts and feelings. This is a discussion of material basically from Barlon up through Whitebridge, but mostly focusing post-Shatter Logoth from the chapter Listen to the Wind, which is chapter 21, up through chapter 26. I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoy my wife's insights. She's smart as hell and funny, and so it's very entertaining to listen to her talk, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, so, I love this chapter.
Yeah.
I like everything about this chapter. I like the name of it. I like Nynaeve in this chapter. This is, peak Nynaeve. All of the little, bits of her that you get from other people, it's just bam, this is this bitch. The way that it's written says a lot about her character in a relatively short span of time. In a single chapter, you learn a fuckload about her. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, she's sort of because she's so prickly, I don't know, she just has a very distinct personality as it is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've only seen her from other people's point of view, but the things that you get from other people's point of view, I feel is fairly accurate to what you get inside her head. Okay. So, or at least what I would... From the things that other people have observed of Nynaeve, the things that I would think was going through her head seems to be accurate to me based on what I'm getting out of her actual head. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's through the very specific lens of Rand, it's sort of there are things that you can... I mean, he's ignorant as fuck, so it's just he's limited in that way, but there are things that you, the reader, as an adult, developed fucking person, can surmise about Nynaeve and why she acts the way that she does. Not just, oh, she's a scary bitch, she's gonna beat you with her fucking stick, whatever. There are things that you can guess about what would be going on inside of her head as a significantly more developed person than fucking Rand.
Yes.
So, the things that I have thought about her personality based on what Rand has observed from his own limited point of view is basically borne out in a very fleshed out sort of way in this chapter. Okay. This is sort of what I'm trying to say. That was a really long explanation to say that she is what I expected. She's intelligent and competitive and stubborn and a little bit irrational, but mostly at the end of the day is ruled by reason, even if she doesn't like it. And it's sort of that seems to be kind of where she tries her best to go anyway. So it's even if she doesn't like it, even if she has this intense emotional urge to be irrational, to deny things because she just wants it to be a certain way, in her heart of hearts, she knows what is real, what is right, what makes sense, and tries her best to accept that. Mm-hmm. And even though she doesn't always do it right, she makes an effort in her own head, is what I've gathered. And it's sort of so yeah, there are some things about her that are frustrating, but generally I find her to be relatively likable, even though she's kind of a bitch. Yeah. There's a lot that's respectable about her, I feel Yes. And she is really young. She's not as young as a lot of the people in as far as the Emmonsfielders. She's not as young as Rand and Perrin and shit, but she is really young still, and she's what, 25? Yeah. Okay. And so really close to that age. So it's just, I feel like an adult at this age, but I also recognize that I don't know everything, and I'm going to gain a good deal of perspective just based on the amount of perspective that I've gained just in the last year or two. And I don't know, she's doing kind of okay. And some of the behaviors that she engages in, like especially being really competitive with men, I feel that in my bones. Like, that really hits home with me because I'm not competitive except with men. I don't know why. It's completely fucking irrational, but I engage in it anyway. I try to not show it if I'm feeling competitive with a dude because I know that it's ridiculous. Because I'm generally not competitive, and so it just feels silly as fuck. But it's like, it's a real thing. And I don't know why, but I identify with that hard. It's sort of like, I feel like a reflexive sort of defense when you are faced with frequent condescension, underestimation, and belittling. I guess that's sort of like condescension from fucking men all the time. Men and adults. Like, if you're a young person, especially a young woman, you just get so accustomed to people treating you like you're a fucking dumb fuck child, and especially from certain groups of people, that it's hard to not be competitive with those people as a way to prove to them in your own sort of way, no, I'm not a dumb fuck child. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just as competent as you. I'm more competent than you in some things. And it's just sort of like, it's hard to not feel that it's like a defensive thing. It's like I don't know, sort of like a defense mechanism. Like a psychological one. Yeah. And it's just like I did it more when I was younger. Like when I was a teenager, when I was in my very, very early 20s. Yeah. Like, I remember when I was working at Harbor Freight, one of the first interactions that Paul and I ever had was, like, we were working freight into the warehouse, and I was, like, putting this big, heavy-ass fucking air compressor up on one of the shelves, so it's, like, above my head, and this thing weighed a fuckload, right? I was, like, putting my all into getting this fucking thing on the shelf, but I had it. I was pretty strong at this point. And he came up behind me and, like, tried to help, because he was, like, that's the best he knew how to, like, try to flirt, start a conversation, whatever. And I got so fucking pissed because I was the only girl on the freight team, and I was really accustomed to constantly being underestimated. Like, I'm the fucking weak link. I'm the fucking only girl here. I can't possibly haul freight around. I'm not strong enough, whatever. And I fucking hated it. So I was just like, I'm gonna prove every one of you dumb motherfuckers wrong. Don't fuck with me. I'll fucking stomp your balls. Like, that's just like the kind of attitude that I had. And so it's like that part of me that remembers how that felt identifies so strongly with that and naive that it's just like, I feel that in my soul.
Yeah,
I really do.
Why wouldn't she fucking hit Senbui with a stick?
Yeah, because especially, okay, so she's the leader of, like, the women's sort of side of the politics in
Emmonsfield.
Yeah, in Emmonsfield. So she's used to dealing with a bunch of fucking stuffy old men all the time on the other side of things with the council, and constantly being shit on by them. You know, she's too young, she's too inexperienced, she's not old enough, smart enough, whatever, experienced enough. And so, yeah, she's defensive. And it's just, it's really, yeah, that comes off as immature, but it's also hard to not feel that way when somebody is constantly questioning your authority, constantly questioning and needling at what you do know. And yeah, I've done my best to grow out of that defensiveness because it comes off as childish. Yeah. But I understand it, and, you know, it's really not that far behind to be a few years older than I was when I started to really grow out of it, to still be sort of feeling that, especially considering her position. So, I don't know. Yeah. I feel that. I like her in a lot of ways. She irritates the fuck out of me in others, but yeah, she is a genuinely caring person. She wants to look after her people. Like, she is determined to make sure that, like, Egwene and the 3 boys, like, are safe and protected. They're her people. They're Emmonsfielders. They need to be safe and home and whatever. And even if her means or her, like, her blame is a little or a lot misplaced, it's just, like, she genuinely does care. But she's got that hardcore tribalism that comes with, like, being from a small place like that.
Well, I mean, you also pointed out that her being so suspicious of Lon and Moraine when they first came into town was actually logical and intelligent.
It was incredibly logical and intelligent. Because she lives on a tiny backwater, what would 2 people like that be doing in a place like that? So it's sort of like, yeah, being highly suspicious was definitely the smart thing to do. I do think she takes her prejudice too far.
Mm-hmm.
But what reason really does she have to trust them? She spent less time with them than the other Emmonsfielders, because she spent some of her time traveling by herself when they were on their way to Barlon. Barlon?
Barlon.
I don't know how to say it. Is it in the index?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't like pronouncing things wrong. Barlon.
Barlon.
I think it'd be Barlon. Or is it Bear? Yeah, Barlon? Barlon. I'm gonna go with that. But, like, she spent time traveling by herself, so the other 4 Emmonsfielders had some time with Moraine and Lan to just get used to them being around at the very least, where she was just by herself sitting there fucking stewing about how much she hates this bitch and, like, this evil fucking Aes Sedai cow stealing her fucking, like, villagers. Kind of understandable that she's not warmed up to them as much. But in this chapter, I wouldn't say she warms up to them, but she accepts the situation better because she has nowhere to go logically. Because, like, there's this bit. So, she wakes up in a little stand of trees or something like that. And, let's see, she's thinking about the night before and how she had, like, Trollocs sort of coming after her, and then they, like, stopped and sniffed her and then turned and went elsewhere because she was, like, talking to her fucking horse. Like, they know the smell of who they want. She's like, and it's not me, that Aes Sedai is right. And then the Shepherd of the Night swallow her up. So, grudgingly, she accepts the truth of what Moraine has said. Because when she's faced with the facts, at least she's willing to accept them. Because there are really some people that can be faced with something that obvious and still deny it. And so she's not so intent on having her head buried in the sand. She's not so prejudiced that she cannot be faced with the facts and just accept them. Like, that's what she does. So I can kind of respect that, even if she's a little over stubborn. But she needs time to work through her prejudices because the 3 boys are still pretty not into Moraine and Lon. They just have been with them for longer, and they have no choice but to kind of trust in them, considering their circumstances.
Well, in
everything's fucked now.
Post-Shatter Logoth, their feelings have changed. I mean, immediately as the party splits up and Sir Bran finds himself missing Moraine terribly, it's like, she's not so bad after all.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they saw what she did in the fucking, like... Oh, God. Did I talk about Shatter Logoth at all? Yeah, anyway, they saw her work some really serious fucking magic. The scary, like, making herself into a giant and climbing over the fucking walls at Barlon, and then, like, making the earth ripple underneath the feet of the Trollocs to fuck shit up. Like, that's serious. And they got to witness that and witness Lon fucking dealing with a goddamn... Murdrel, yeah. Sorry, I can't remember what the dumb shit's name
Chopping its head off.
Yeah. Well, it fucking slithers around like a little snake. Snakes will do that. Like, if you cut their heads off, they whip around on the ground for hours sometimes.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah.
that's what that
disturbing.
Comes from. Okay.
I'm guessing. That was the visual that I got. So, when I was, like, visiting my grandparents a bunch in Arizona, there was a rattlesnake that had made its home in my grandparents' yard. That's really dangerous for obvious reasons, but their little, like, front driveway is really little, so it was like basically you stepped outside, and if you're trying to get into the driver's side of the car, you have to walk right next to this rattlesnake hole. Not cool, not safe, you gotta get rid of it. So my grandpa like fucking killed this thing. I was like out there trying to help him, and he managed to shoot it with a pellet gun a couple of times, but it wouldn't fucking die. So eventually he like went and grabbed his shovel, and he like managed to chop its head off with a shovel. It was pretty impressive, especially considering he's like old as fuck. But anyway, he chopped this fucker's head off with a shovel, and it whipped around on the ground like bleeding out its neck for literally hours. Probably for like
Jesus.
3-ish hours, maybe 4 before it stopped moving at all. It was wild. I've never seen anything like it before.
That's nuts.
Like, have you ever seen the original like Clash of the Titans? How Medusa What? We're gonna watch that fucking movie. It's horrible and so fucking good. The animation is just horrific, or I guess the effects or whatever, because it's old as fuck. Terrible. Really fun to watch. Anyway, Medusa, when she fucking gets her head whipped off with a sword, like, she fucking, like, flips around on the ground for a while bleeding, and it's sort of like, that's what snakes do.
Okay.
That's what the fuck they do. And yeah, that was my very first thought, because they were like, it'll take hours for it to die, I heard. I think it was Tom that says that. And, like a snake. Like a fucking snake. Like a servant of the shepherd of the night. Like, that was some serious, like, Bible imagery. I really appreciate him going all the way with that. Yep. He lived in the South. He knows he knows what snakes look like when they die, because they have, like, horrible, scary, poisonous snakes. They're like water moccasins. Shit. Those are in the South, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I knew a dude at the Coast Guard base who was from Texas. He said that he liked to go fishing, and they would fucking leap out of trees into their boats.
Ew. Fuck that.
Yeah, Larna said they take the kids swimming, and they always have to have a parent up on the bank to keep an eye out for the water moccasins in the water.
Because, like, some of them can, like, slither in, like, sort of at the surface, and they swim.
Yeah, so they gotta yell at the kids if the snakes are in the water. I'm just like, I like living.
That's the most Texan
that's
thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm just like, I'm so glad I live somewhere where we have, like, all we have is, like, poisonous spiders.
Not even, like, deadly poisonous, really. Like, hobo spiders are bad, but, like, you can live if you get bit by them, I'm pretty sure. I was reading
black
something
widows.
like that. Oh, we have black widows, but we don't have very many over here. That's mostly in, like, southern Oregon.
Yeah.
We have, like, mock black widows. A few of them. I found one of those.
Bears.
Black bears, though.
Yeah.
We get, like, the mild version of everything. We have mild poisonous spiders, mild dangerous wild animals.
We have cougars
we
here.
We do have
they
cougars.
Eat people.
They're scary.
They specifically eat people as opposed
and there have been
to
wolves seen in this area, I'm pretty sure. Like,
coyotes, but they're not really dangerous.
Coyotes aren't really dangerous.
They'll eat your pets.
If they're...
There was that guy
if they get rabid, then they would be dangerous.
There was that guy who got attacked by the coyote and stabbed it with his 940.
That's so unusual, though. Like, coyotes typically just hide and leave you the fuck alone. My dad was a kid growing up at the coast. He used to, like... So he lived out in buttfuck nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. Where he would go to this big-ass field, and there was literally, like, nobody for, like, at least, like, half mile or something. And he and his friends would pitch a tent, or not a tent... throw their sleeping bags down on the ground. No tent, just fucking right on the ground, and they'd hear coyotes, and they'd be running. There's fuckloads of coyotes out there, and they never fucking bothered him, because they were, like, afraid. Except that one time that they murdered his ducks, and he was really upset.
Well, cougars. We have cougars.
Cougars scare me. But yeah, I don't know that it's super common for cougars to eat people here.
Well, like...
I know that they've been seen, and that I think that mostly they attack pets, though, too.
Well, there was the cougar attack up in Washington, the mountain bikers.
That's super uncommon, though. One of the reasons that was, like, a sensational story is because that almost never happens.
I knew somebody who third degree of separation, like, knows someone who knew the person who got eaten.
What?
Yeah.
Do you know where we actually, like, last talked? I know that we talked about Across the Terran, because I was talking about the fucking sunk ferry.
The last thing that we talked about was Begin Barlon, and
Rand and his scary vision thing, huh?
Yeah. But...
And Tom being really suspect.
Yeah.
So I think the wisdom was probably the last place that we didn't... Like, the last chapter that I didn't cover.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Nynaeve showing up.
I am curious. Oh, okay. It never specifically says, but right before they go and talk to Nynaeve, like at Stag and Lion, Matt's like, blood and ashes, how did you get here? Moiraine, the fairy. And Perrin's all like, you think a little thing like a sunken fairy could stop her? He's like, she rooted Hightower out. I don't know how he got back over the river, but she said he was hiding in his bedroom and didn't want to go near the river. Anyway, she bullied him into finding a boat big enough for her and her horse. Okay, so she specifically told Perrin that, because Perrin was the one that hung out at the Stag and the Lion. So he and Egwene were the only ones there when Nynaeve got there, because Matt and Rand were out antagonizing the fucking...
White Cloaks.
Yeah.
And that's why Moiraine was like, you healed either Perrin or Egwene.
Right. Or both. Because she sensed them. Okay. That's pretty amazing, though, honestly. Like, after the horrible night that they had, or nights, whatever, she managed to, like, bully them without having, like, any of the coin or anything. Like...
Yeah, she's a hardcore bully.
Shit up.
Yeah. That's my issue with her, is that she's a bully, and I don't like bullies, but...
I don't like bullies either. Sometimes, I guess it's sort of necessary in, like, desperate situations to be able to make people do what you want. But I'm a little bit more for, like, well-finessed manipulation. But I don't know that either, that's necessarily kinder.
Yeah, I've been trying to have a lot more sympathy with Nynaeve through this read-through.
Shit. I really like this sentence. Perrin is just like, she came after us. She's with Mistress Alice right now, and it's cold enough in there to snow. It's just like, I like that. Because it is. It really is. They're all fucking terrified of her. Which I find sort of funny, because, like, yeah, she's kind of a bullying bitch, but also, like, what can she do, really? She's not gonna, like, cut off their hands or drown them in a river or anything like that. But she terrifies the fuck out of, like, everybody.
I had to logic my way out of being afraid of my mother because her temper was so bad.
Okay, but I feel like people and their, like, children and their parents is a specific sort of thing. Because, like, I had my own problems with my parents, and logically, like, a lot of it didn't make sense. But it affected my childhood significantly. But I didn't put up with the same shit from other people because they were not my parents. And the amount of power that they have over you is just different, even if they're an adult or a teacher or a person in power. It's just a very different sort of relationship than a parent, and she's not their parent. I don't know. It's just like, they're fucking terrified of her. Did Rand ever tell Tom about what Min said? I can't remember.
About the man juggling fire?
Just about all the stuff that she said about a lot of them.
I don't think so.
Because Tom... I didn't think so either, because when Min was, like, trying to talk to Rand right before they went into the room with Moiraine and Nynaeve, like, Matt was asking Rand about it, and he's like, Nynaeve is part of it. And Tom's like, part of what? Does that girl know something? So he absolutely does not know about Min, it sounds like.
Right.
And that she's all, like, prophetic and shit. So, yeah, Nynaeve is definitely not an idiot. I really like this, where Maureen's like, or I guess, God, she really is so prickly. But Lon's like, I'm interested in how you found us, and she's just like, yeah, logically, duh, you were gonna go here. She's like, I followed your trail, and Lon's all like, what the fuck? And she's kind of, like, pompously like, no, you weren't careless, I'm just really fucking awesome. And I kind of appreciate that a little, like, she's just, like, bragging a little bit, or a lot of it, whatever. But, yeah, see, she gets extra prickly. Like, she doesn't like Moiraine, but she gets really prickly with Lon. in particular. It's with the men. It's just with the fucking men. I'm convinced. So she either bullies them or feels defensive with them. Whereas Moiraine, she just kind of like butts heads with. I don't know. Like, the flavor of their interactions is different when she's dealing with a woman versus the men. Or boys. But yeah, she's like, I can track as well as any man in the Two Rivers except perhaps Tam al'Thor. So she gives him credit, but she also likes Tam, or at least respects him well enough because he's one of her people. And he's not a fucking dirty Aes Sedai's warder, like. So, but she also is young and craving of approval because she's all like, you know, talking about her father teaching her how to track, and how it sounds like she was treated, you know, as her father would have treated a son had he had one, which is another sort of like I really can see that. Like, I don't know if you've ever, there's a specific kind of girl who sort of holds certain traits that are often considered like masculine, or interests that are considered masculine, in kind of a high esteem, often because of how they're raised, as in like they're raised in a sort of rough and tumble environment or by their fathers or whatever, where they value these masculine traits and they almost internalize a certain amount of misogyny and toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very specific flavor to the way that they talk about things, and how they interact with other people. A lot of times these girls specifically have trouble interacting with other women,
mm-hmm.
but she seems to kind of be in a strange spot. So I feel like she has that a little bit. Like she doesn't exactly have toxic masculine traits, but she kind of does. And there's like a certain level of frustration with like the like feminine expectations of her position as well. Like, she doesn't really like Lon. She fucking challenges him all the time. She's like extra fucking rude to him and confrontational and aggressive with him. But when he praises her like tracking abilities, she blushes because she's like desperate for that kind of approval, because she wants to be better than him. But like she's competitive with him, but she still appreciates his approval, and that's sort of like a weird, uncomfortable place to exist in. And she's probably ashamed of her liking of his approval, like, or of her desire for that kind of approval. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she probably feels that and feels the approval, and then fucking berates herself internally for it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing is how she feels. She's like, you don't need him to tell you that you're doing a good job. You know you're doing a good job. But she likes it anyway because she's young and not nearly as sure of herself as she puts off. I think it's sort of a situation like when you are frequently used to being, like I said, undermined or condescended to or doubted. Eventually you sort of just come to a place where you fake it till you make it. And just like you thought that I was more confident and self-assured than I actually was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes you just kind of have to put that off, because if you pretend that you're one way, people are more likely to treat you like you're that way. And if you act like you're timid as a rabbit, if you act like you're really kind of self-conscious, or you act like you're really unsure, or you're really desperate for approval, people will treat you like you're desperate for approval, and they'll treat you like you're fucking weak. And she hates it. So she tries her hardest to pretend that she doesn't need people's approval, that she doesn't give a fuck what other people think, but really she desperately cares what people think, even if she won't acknowledge it. All she wants is for people, like, she knows that she's got a fucking brain, she knows that she knows what she's doing, she just wants other people to acknowledge that too, and not constantly tell her that she's wrong, or constantly underestimate her. It's like the things that she does have confidence in herself about, like, she just wants people to acknowledge that she's not an incompetent child, because she's not necessarily. She's immature about some things, and she has stuff that she needs to learn, but even she acknowledges that she has stuff that she needs to learn. Like, later on when they're chilling in Shattered Logoth, she's like, there's lots that I don't know. And she just wants people to treat her like she's not a fucking child. That's all. She wants some fucking respect. So I kind of understand, like, her prickly ass attitude, because it's hard to not feel that way when you don't get respect. So
I think that's probably one of the reasons why she is so many women's favorite character.
Just because it's hard to not identify with her a little bit. It's just like that's how my family treats all of the kids in the family, is basically like, you are, by default, because you are a young person, it's slightly, like, less misogynistic and more about, like, youth, but they're like, because you're a young person, you can't possibly know anything that we don't, you can't possibly have more wisdom about anything that we don't, or than we do. Yeah, you can't possibly be wiser than we are. You're a young person, our positions are by default correct, and you will eventually grow up and come to see things the way we see them, because you only think this way because you're young, because you lack perspective, because you lack knowledge, because you're not nearly as smart as we are. And that constant underestimation and undermining makes you fucking pissed. And it's like, especially if you know that you're fucking right. I am not a stupid person, and I've been smarter than my parents for a while. And it's just sort of like, they think they're the goddamn shit. And I don't consider myself an arrogant person. I don't think that I'm arrogant. I don't think that I overestimate my own intelligence too much. In fact, I am plagued by self-doubt and self-consciousness. Hello, anxiety. But it's just like, but I know certain things, and I know that I know certain things. Sometimes I am right, and I am absolutely certain that I am right about some things, and it's not from a place of arrogance, it's from a place of just like, some things are true and some things are not. And if you're constantly told that you're wrong, even when you absolutely know that you're not, you just get fucking exhausted of it. You get fucking pissed at being underestimated because you're young, or because you're a woman, or because, you know, whatever. And it's hard to not, especially if you are younger and don't know how to, like, deal with those feelings very well yet. It's hard to not take that and just give it to everybody and just be angry at everybody that is like the people that underestimate you.
You really identify with Nynaeve.
I do, in a number of ways. I think that she's a lot bitchier than I am. But partly that's just because she's a more confrontational person than I've ever been in my life. I am deeply anxious, and I am super, super conflict averse. So I won't do or say things that might arouse conflict because it terrifies me. So she is not afraid of conflict, so she's confrontational. And she is sort of what I would be if I weren't so afraid of confrontation. I would probably be kind of a bitch. More than I already am. And, yeah, the way that she approaches certain things is pretty immature, but, like, I feel that pain. I feel where she's coming from. I understand why she does some of, and says some of the things that she does, why she's so defensive, why she lashes out. She just needs to understand herself a little bit better and her place, like, in the world, and why she, like, her self-awareness isn't great. It's not the worst, but it's not great. And she really needs to just work on that.
Yeah.
But she's also quite young, and a lot of people aren't great in the self-awareness department. I feel like in a lot of ways she's very average and just kind of normal. She is a common woman with common problems with uncommon power and above average intelligence.
Yeah.
But emotionally, she's just kind of a normal ass person. And the unfortunate side of that is an average sort of emotional intelligence. And, you know, she might very well develop that better over time. especially if she is determined to learn things, especially if what she says is true, where she's like, there's lots of things that I don't understand. If she applies that sort of thinking to herself and to different aspects of her life, then she will probably turn into a better person as she gets older, if she gets older. But right now she's a super young person who doesn't know how to deal with people who are adverse to her for illogical reasons, because she probably can't articulate to herself exactly what her problem is with men or with people that doubt her, because it's a difficult sort of thing to completely unpack. It's complex, obviously, since I can't fucking hardly articulate myself. That was a long discussion to try to say something kind of simple, I feel like.
So I love that Nynaeve gets put in with Moraine and Egwene, and Matt's like, I wouldn't be in Egwene's shoes for fucking anything.
Well, no, she's sitting there with her loose-ass, unbraided hair, and she's like, tradition? Fuck that. And then suddenly the fucking, like, pillar of women's traditions from her fucking village shows up, and she's just like, oh, fuck. And she's like, I fucked up. I bet she's wishing more than anything that she'd put her goddamn braid back in, and at the same time, it's just sort of like, she knows what she wants now, and she wants to, like, stick to her guns, but also she wants to fall into a hole.
Yeah.
And never be seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Egwene.
It's like, I have a new mentor now, and then my old one showed up to cockblock me.
Yeah. I agree with Nat. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes for anything. That'd be horrible. Because, yeah, she's like, she likes and respects Nynaeve, and what I would guess is that one of the things she respects about Nynaeve is Nynaeve's lack of putting up with people's bullshit. And so she's like, I don't want to put up with people's bullshit. I don't want to put up with your bullshit. But I'm afraid of you.
Yeah.
Because I think that, yeah, she wants to be her own person, and she wants to be able to stand up for herself. But learning to stand up to people that you also respect is really hard. That's a complicated position to be in, because she wants to respect Nynaeve, but she wants to respect herself too.
Yeah, their relationship is complicated.
It is complicated. And I mean, I do genuinely think that Nynaeve cares for Egwene.
Oh, they love each other.
And yeah, Egwene cares for Nynaeve a lot. She respects her deeply. She thinks that she's badass, and she loves her because she is a lot of the things that Egwene would like to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Nynaeve, in her stubbornness, in her, I don't know, protective, defensive sort of personality, she would also be suffocating to somebody like Egwene. But at the same time, I almost feel like that has value in a sense too, because if Egwene can be faced with, like, I mean, this is really early on in the series, so it's like she's gone and left, she's on her own adventure, she has a whole ass new plan for her life now. Her whole plan was to be tutored by Nynaeve and to become the next village wisdom, or to go, elsewhere and go be a wisdom somewhere else. But now she's picked a new adventure for herself because it's closer, she can fucking almost taste it, and she just wanted something different pretty desperately, so she went for it when it was basically handed to her on a fucking platter. And suddenly Nynaeve shows up, and she's just like, well, she's gonna have feelings about this. And Egwene is trying desperately to be her own person while still respecting Nynaeve. And Nynaeve, like I said, she, that's gotta be sort of, her personality type's gotta be kind of oppressive. But if Egwene can sit in the same room as her and Moraine and still, she's trying to hide the fact that she's unbraided her hair, but she also didn't run off to go put it back. And she didn't do it.
Mm-mm.
She didn't undo what she had undone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she said, fuck you to tradition. And she did not backpedal when Nynaeve showed up. So despite Nynaeve's ability to bully, and despite Nynaeve just putting the fear of God in people without really even having to do anything, except, like, glaring. Egwene didn't bend, and despite her self-consciousness and her fear, did what she wanted anyway. And I feel like that sort of pressure to be in the presence of somebody who you know wants something specific from you and doing something different because you want it instead anyway, that's kind of powerful and can help develop a strong sense of self.
Yeah.
Despite the pressure of tradition. I feel like this is a very interesting situation. Nynaeve represents Egwene's past and where she came from, and I mean, it's good to not forget where you've come from, but Nynaeve is, like, preventing her from getting that clean break, sort of. I mean, well, things are different now that everything's fucked up, and she's chilling with Perrin, but she can bully Perrin, she couldn't have bullied Nynaeve. But...
Yeah,
What?
Oh, I feel like the way that he, broke up the party was very deliberate.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know,
wish
so
that Rand and Matt hadn't ended up together, but hey.
Well, I think that there's, like, you know, there's a specific reason that Matt and Rand went together, but it's like, you know,
they're my least favorite party.
Fucking Nynaeve has to be in a position of, like, you know...
I love that she ended up with
yeah, because she's in a position of weakness there, so it's like... And it just, like, because the power dynamic is so off, it puts her in such a position of strife and suffering, which makes it just really interesting. And then, like, Egwene is being the most open-minded of them all, going with Perrin, who's, like, the most self-conscious.
But also very deliberate and intelligent. He's not an idiot, and I think that... So Perrin seems all surprised that Egwene is like, yeah, I'll go along with what the fuck you're saying, but I think that's because Egwene is, one, not stupid, and recognizes in Perrin that he is the most intelligent and mature of the three Emmonsfield boys, but also, she's not around everybody else. What does she have to prove? She's just with Perrin.
Yeah.
It's just the two of them. If there were a third person there, I think the dynamic would be really different. But it's not. It's just the two of them. And, I don't know, it gives her the opportunity to be herself in a very different sort of way. She just seems a lot more natural.
Yeah.
Like, she gets to be a little bit weak, but a little bit strong and a little bit stubborn and just very Egwene, and it's kind of a beautiful little situation where Perrin gets to be, like, peak Perrin and she gets to be peak Egwene, and they just have to, like, learn to live with each other like that. And
Perrin and Egwene's time together is some of my favorite in the whole entire series.
I haven't, read a lot with them together, but I really like it. I really love them together.
Yeah, I do too.
Because Perrin is sort of like, yeah, if she wants to boss a little, whatever, that's fine with me. And she also she doesn't want to dominate him all the time. She's, like, letting herself, like, if Nynaeve were there, it'd be completely different. But she's letting herself be a little bit vulnerable, a little bit scared. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of unsure. Like, she just seems so much more natural. Like, she's letting her genuine feelings come through. She's not so stony, not so closed off. If it were her and Rand, I feel like that stoniness would be there. That defensiveness would be there. This bullying, like...
If it were her and Rand, they wouldn't have gotten out of Shattered Logoth, because if it were her and Rand, when Bella dropped behind, rather than looking over his shoulder and being like, Egwene, hurry, he would have stopped and turned his horse around to go back, and they both would have gotten killed and eaten by Trollocs, because Rand's a
Bella
fucking
too.
moron. But Perrin was
like, she's got this.
He's like, I can't fucking help her. I'm just like, let's ride faster, because she was with Perrin, they both lived.
Well, and not only that, but it's just like, I feel like one of the reasons probably that she feels slightly more natural with Perrin is because, I mean, Perrin, logicked himself into a situation where he's like, I literally am powerless to do anything. The least I can do is save myself. If she makes it, fucking great. It'll be tragic if she doesn't, but I can't do anything, so it would make absolutely no sense to go get myself killed too. So he does that, but also that Rand has this sort of desire to coddle her almost, where he's
Mm-hmm.
like, she's a person that needs, she's a woman, she needs protecting, she needs help, she needs my help, she needs to be looked after, and Perrin's like, she's got this. He's like, I can't do much here, because that's the truth. It's sort of like, Rand, despite all his feelings, is like, oh my god, what about Egwene? It's sort of like, he is more helpless than she is. Basically the whole series, probably. She is not a helpless person. She, is inexperienced and lived in fucking, like, Hickville, basically, of this...
And was, like,
this fucking place.
The rich girl in the neighborhood. But,
yeah. But she doesn't need coddling. No. She really doesn't. She is a perfectly capable person. She is inexperienced and very young and, has her own set of problems, but she isn't particularly weak. She isn't particularly needful of help. She isn't, she's not like a little helpless, she's not a scared rabbit. Like, I feel like Rand needs, like, if, fuck, my brain isn't working. I've had too much wine.
Do you feel like Rand needs someone to coddle him?
Yes, Rand is the scared rabbit, and he thinks he's this big, strong man, but really, he's the one that needs coddling, he's the one that needs help, he's the one that needs rescuing, he's the princess in the tower that needs saving from the dragon, and Egwene is the bitch that cuts that fucker's head off. It's sort of like, the dragon, not Rand. But she just, especially from Rand, does not need his help. She doesn't need his coddling or his defense. Yeah. I don't know what makes Rand think he's qualified for the position of protector, except that he has a fucking penis. But, like, he's not. He's so underqualified as person to protect this other person that it's laughable. And she knows it. And I think that, like, the situation with Perrin is he just doesn't treat her like that. He treats her a lot more as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
He treats her like she's not defenseless. He treats her like...
Yeah, I love seeing her through his eyes. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, he gets frustrated with her too.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't try as hard. And I mean, Rand has the pressure of, like, they're sort of, like, supposed to get married or something. Like, that's their, like, village destiny. But, and that weird tension doesn't exist with her and Perrin, because there's not a lot of expectation there, but he just treats her mostly like an equal. And, I mean, he's still got that I'm a man sort of zap on him a little, but it's just not the same as with her and Rand, and he doesn't question everything that she does, at least not outwardly. Mm-hmm. So, like, when he has his doubts, when things, like, I don't know. He just doesn't...
He mostly keeps his opinions to himself. Yes. Yeah. He shuts his mouth and minds his own business because...
Yes, because she isn't his fucking business. She's her own goddamn business. And she doesn't mind him as much as she tries to mind Rand, because Rand tries to mind her business. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, yeah, Egwene is kind of prickly too, but she's less prickly if you don't fuck with her. Which kind of makes sense, Yeah. She's like, don't mind my business and I won't mind yours so much. Because she's a lot nicer to Perrin than she is to Rand.
Yeah.
Because she probably feels condescended to by Rand. Because he tries to coddle her. And I don't like that either. Like, I identify with Egwene in that sense too. Because it's sort of like... being offered help or having somebody treat me like I even needed in the first place. It just feels condescending, or especially by men. And it's just like, sometimes you don't want or need anybody's help. And like I said, that situation with fucking Paul where he tried to come and help me with the fucking, like, air compressor or whatever. Yeah, it was hard. Did I have it anyway? Yes, I fucking did. Did I need his help? Absolutely fucking not. Would have been a lot easier for him to do it, but I fucking had it. And I didn't want him to come and interfere and make me feel like I was being perceived as somebody who couldn't do it without help. And it's just like, it doesn't feel good to be treated like that. And yeah, I think Rand makes Egwene feel like that. Whereas Perrin doesn't. He's just kind of uncomplicated.
I like Perrin.
I like Perrin too, and I like Perrin and Egwene together in this situation. I feel kind of bad for Nynaeve in her situation.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's nice to see this power dynamic because it makes...
Well, she's kind of used to, like, she has a number of problems. Like I said, she gets undermined and doubted and stuff a lot in her own village, but now she's with strangers who, the way that they treat her is odd. Like, Lon, I think one of the reasons why she feels defensive with Lon isn't just because he's a man. I think it's partly because he's kind of just really dismissive with her. He treats her like she's a fucking child because she, to him, kind of is just a redneck who's really young and doesn't know very much about the world. And also, she doesn't like him, and probably he knows it and doesn't care very much. But it doesn't endear her to him, and it definitely doesn't endear him to her. And I don't know, their relation, like, she has a very different dynamic with Moiraine than she does with Lon. And having all three of them together is a really odd situation because Moiraine and Lon are so connected, but they're very different sorts of people. Like, they're together a lot, obviously, all the time, pretty much. They're almost never separated, but they're really different. Lon is a lot more stiff and serious and impatient, and Moiraine is a little bit more patient, and I don't know. She's more likely to humor somebody's questions or doubts than Lon, who just doesn't have the fucking time for that bullshit. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation that she's in because I'm guessing that it's uncomfortable in the sense that here she is yet again in a situation with people that are gonna condescend to her and doubt her. But that's mostly coming from Lon, it seems like, whereas Moiraine takes a different sort of attitude towards her. She has almost like a motherly sort of attitude towards her. Like, she humors her questions and her outbursts and her, like, I don't know. I feel like Moiraine and Nynaeve almost interact with each other like Nynaeve is a really precocious teenager who's kind of bitchy and asks a lot of questions, and Moiraine is a deeply patient mother who occasionally loses her fucking temper because her teenager is particularly bitchy. That's kind of like what the dynamic feels like a little bit, where she's like really trying because she knows that Nynaeve is the product of her environment and quite young and has lots of reasons to be the way that she is, but also it's easy to get impatient with her attitude. It's like a weird, I don't know. Maureen's had to exercise a lot of patience dealing with all of the Evansfielders.
Oh, I know.
I would have drowned them all in the fucking Terran.
Oh, I know. Yeah, when I did an episode about Moiraine, I was like, how much you like her seems to depend upon, how bad you feel for the Emmonsfielders about her coming in and taking over control of her life, or control of their lives. So if you feel like she deserves a medal for putting up with their fucking endless stupidity.
Well, because I haven't read far enough to know what the end goal is. I don't know exactly, like, what they're in for individually. I kind of have an idea of what Rand's in for, but poor motherfucker. But I don't know what the others are in for. I don't know why they're in for what they're in for. I don't know what would happen to them if Moiraine hadn't taken them from Emmonsfield. I don't know specifically how things would have ended for all of them. Yeah. And I don't know what the purpose in keeping them alive is. I don't know any of that, so I guess I can't, I don't have a ton of perspective on Moiraine's position at this point in the book, because you just don't get anything from her. You just hear bits and pieces from other people's perspectives, and so you get an inkling of what she's about. Also, I don't think it's an accident that you get the most, Nynaeve when she's spying on them.
Yeah.
After post Shatter Logoth, you get the most I feel like from the way that Moiraine and Lon talk about the world and talk to each other and like, the things that they consider and the way that they consider them. I just, like, because she's spying on an intimate conversation, like, you kind of get a better sense of the kind of people that they are, or the way that their brains work, at least. And also, Nynaeve is observant, and the Emmonsfield boys, Rand, is not. He's dumb. So, his perspective is limited by his fear and doubt of Moiraine, while Nynaeve, though she also likely fears and doubts all Aes Sedai and their warders, is, like, a little bit less ignorant, or just, she's less stupid. She's less stupid than Rand, and so she's just, like, a better sort of narrator despite her prejudices, I feel like. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see how they do Shatter Logoth in the TV show. I'm actually, like, almost more excited to... I hope they do, like, the scene on the Camelin Road, because I find that scene always so stressful to read.
It is incredibly stressful, and it doesn't even have to be very long. That does not have to be a long scene. It's written a lot longer than it would be visually. But, like, yeah, the whole Shatter Logoth scene is, like, insane. It's, like, the massive turning point at the beginning of the story. I mean, obviously, like, the fucking Trollocs and Myrtle showing up in Emmonsfield was, like, it really got, like, the story turning and got things going, but, like, this is where things really start, I feel like. It's just, like...
Yeah, I feel like this is the major before and after.
Yeah, exactly. They were sort of doing okay, and now everybody is, like... It's basically, like, every man for themselves. And, I mean, even though they're broken up into parties, they're still... It's not great. It is kind of interesting that Nynaeve ends up with Moiraine and Lon, just for the sheer reason that she's one of the more capable ones. Like, if anybody was left completely on their own and had to get all the way to fucking Camelin or Tarf Island by themselves, I would put my money on Nynaeve to make it there with the least trouble, sort of. And definitely Rand and Matt for the most trouble. So.
Sure, Mr. Mordeath, I'll get into your white van. Get in, kids, I have treasure.
He makes me want to drown him. In any case, of all the Emmonsfielders, the most capable Emmonsfielder ended up with the other two of the other most capable people so far in the story. Tom Merrilin is really capable. He is absolutely a survivor.
Oh yeah,
he does what the fuck he needs to do.
The stupidest ones went with a very capable person.
Yeah. So Moiraine and Lon together are quite capable. Definitely of traveling. They can definitely make their way to Tarf Island, no fucking problem. Nynaeve, of all the Emmonsfielders, could have made it to Tarf Island the easiest of all of them. Tom, definitely, he's A-okay. So, I feel bad for him, sort of. Like, I have lots of doubts and questions about him, and he scares me a little bit. But I feel kind of bad for him, because he ended up with these two dumb shits. He ends up with the absolute biggest dumb shit, first place dumb shit of Emmonsfield, and ran the fucking psychotic, losing his mind ass motherfucker who's also kind of fucking dumb. Like, he ends up with those two. The country bumpkins, as he puts it. He ends up with the most bumpkin of the country bumpkins, and the craziest of the country bumpkins, and there's just one of him. So it's like, yeah. This is delicious. This tastes like Christmas.
Fuck yeah. Christmas wine.
South Australia. This is really good. Shiraz and Cab Sauv. Cab Sauv is like my favorite. So I feel sort of like... Sorry, this is completely like jumping to something different, but... So Flight Down the Arnell is a really interesting chapter. Irritating as I find Matt and Rand. So one of the big unfortunate parts, fortunate and unfortunate parts, of having them with Tom Merrilin is they are the least likely to be suspicious of him or to have any thoughts about him at all, like, period. Because they don't have that many thoughts together to begin with. So, it's sort of like... He's a sketchy character. He's he continues to be a sketchy character. He doesn't seem super sketchy in this chapter, but he's kind of sketchy. And these two, they'll never notice. Like, if he were a bad... Like, I don't know at this point anything about him. Yeah, still, like I said, he's a complete wild card. But if he's a bad actor, they're literally the last ones that would ever know about it. Ever. So if he's a bad actor, he could not have gotten fucking luckier to end up with these two shits because they're dumb. So it's like, I don't know if he ended up with them just by sheer chance running up after them like when they were fleeing Shatter Logoth, or if it was with intent that he specifically joined these two. But if he is a bad actor, he made a good-ass choice, because if he had joined, say, Moiraine and Lon, he'd be a dead man. And, if he started being suspicious or something. And if he joined Nynaeve, she would just bully him to death. And she might pick up on something. Egwene might pick up on something. Even Perrin, because he's not really that dumb. He's just really deliberate. But these two are so dumb that he could probably leap around on the deck of this fucking ship and be like, I'm a dark friend. And they'd be like, that's funny as fuck, Tom. So, just like... I'm glad you find that so amusing. They're just, like, really stupid. And I kind of worry about them with Tom. As soon as I knew that they were all together, I'm like, if he's bad, y'all are fucked. Like...
Well, and then Matt stole that dagger.
Oh, God. Fucking Matt. He should have drowned in the Arno. Not Perrin's fucking horse. Perrin's horse that drowned is smarter than Matt.
It might not have drowned.
It might not have drowned. It probably did. It probably did drown, though. I don't know. In any case, it's just... I hope he's not bad for their sake. But I do... Okay, so... In Listen to the Wind, let's see, where is it? Before Nynaeve gets with them, when she's still spying. Okay, so the conversation that they're having, Lon is saying, all the Trollocs, all the Halfmen are gone, and he's like, they're gone, like, even the corpses are gone, and they don't carry off their dead unless they're gonna eat them. And Moiraine is like, saying something about how they, one could always hope they've gone back into Shatter Logoth and consumed by it, but that would be too much to wish for. The chances that all of those Trollocs were destroyed by Mashadar is pretty slim, especially after they all started freaking out. I mean, they could be, but definitely not all of them. There was a lot of Trollocs. Lon said, there was at least 3, possibly 5 fists of Trollocs following them.
Yeah.
Like when they were on the Camelin Road.
Yeah.
And he did manage to destroy the one
Murdrol. So he would have killed one fist.
So there's at least 2 to 4 fists of Trollocs following them. There's 100 Trollocs a fist and a Murdrol.
So. Yeah.
So, that's not good. That's a lot of Trollocs. And they're talking about, like, see... It's like, I could accept Trollocs in the Two Rivers, even 100 Trollocs, but there must have been almost 1,000 in the hunt for us yesterday. That's a big number, considering what he told them. And then Moiraine says, we're very lucky that not all stayed to search Shatter Logoth. The Myrtle must have doubted we would hide there, but also feared to return to Sheol Ghul, leaving even the slightest chance uncovered. The Dark One was never a lenient master. And it's the fact that they were there and that they got away super quickly. She's talking about traveling. And I mean, I don't know anything about Aes Sedai at this point, but travel sounds sort of like, brain. What the fuck is it called when you disappear from one place and reappear in another?
Apparition.
Not the Harry Potter term. There's like a sci-fi term for it. What the fuck is it called?
Transporting? Like in Star Trek when you go through
I've never seen Star Trek. Sorry.
Well, what the fuck?
There's another...
Transmigration? No.
There's a really general term for it that's completely escaping me because I've had...
Teleportation.
That fucking thing. Thank you. But yeah, traveling sounds like teleportation to me. So, magical. And, yeah, Moraine's just like, I don't know the ways capital are, but I'm guessing these are some, like, magical roads that allow for teleportation of some sort. And she's like, there's not been an Aes Sedai powerful enough to travel since the time of madness. I don't know what the time of madness is exactly.
That's when the
taint was fucking made, when, like, the breaking of the world happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When men weren't allowed to, like, do magic anymore without losing their goddamn minds. So, sorry, it's called the breaking of the world typically, or referred to that way, so hearing it called the time of madness is a little bit, like, weird.
The time of madness caused the breaking.
Okay.
And from here on, Abby and I got a little bit bogged down discussing the nuances of the breaking versus the time of madness, and then we got lost looking at a map, so I'm just going to move on into the next section, where we started discussing Chapter 25, the traveling people, and Abby got a little excited when she connected all the dots about the tree.
Is it Tuathain?
Tuathain.
Tuathain? Okay. I don't know who the fuck they are, but they seem to be closely related to the Travelers. I don't know if that's their official name. Don't fucking tell me, because I don't actually know yet. Figure it out. Parents asking questions and shit. So, but they were like, they can cross the Aiel waste. Also, Gleeman, they apparently can cross the Aiel waste. Can file that away for later. This fucking Tom, I'm a shady fuck Marilyn. So yeah, it says Gleeman, peddlers, if they're honest, and not Pod and Fane, probably. How do you say it again?
Tuathain.
Tuathain? Okay. It says they cross the waste all the time. And merchants from Carahine or Carahine?
Kyrian.
Are you fucking serious? It looks like Kyrian, almost.
It's supposed to be, like, the C and then I, Kai.
I have it as Keye for the first part.
Kai, yeah. You're right, yeah.
It almost looks like Kie Rien or something like that.
Well, lots of people pronounce it a lot of different ways.
I've been pronouncing it really wrong.
That's okay.
Oh, man. Well,
people pronounce...
it still isn't super clear, so...
Yeah, the fucking glossary is never really clear, and he does weird shit where
also, it's made up, so who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But, anyway, it says... Merchants from this motherfucking place used to before the tree in the Aiel War. And I was like, I know this. And I was like, who the fuck was talking about it? And I remembered it was like from Tam's fucking fever dream when Rand's pulling him through the woods. And he was talking about, I remember them talking about cutting down a tree and like burning and pillaging and stuff. And I was like, fucking putting two and two together, and I'm guessing that the tree was the cause of the Aiel War, and that the people that Tam was talking about were the Aiel folk. I don't know what the fuck the Aiel people, Aiel men and women, whatever the fuck they are. And what is it? So this fucking tree of life, Avendasora?
Avendasora.
Yeah, Avendasora. Wow, a thing that I pronounced right on. That and Rand are pretty much the only things I pronounced right on the first try. So yeah. So the way that Rand and like thinks about, and the way that people talk about the Aiel that don't know any Aiel, like talk about them being kind of like nuts or crazy or savages, basically talking about them the way that like the Horse Lords are talked about in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, he was just going on about they came over the dragon wall like a flood, washed the land with blood. And I don't know who Lamon is, but I'm guessing that he's like the lord or the king of like the place that I can't pronounce.
Kyrian.
That fucking place. And so Rand thinks he's talking about Trollocs. It sounds like it says that there isn't any flood of Trollocs, but I think that he's talking about Aiel people.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm guessing that Rand was just assuming Trollocs because that's the biggest, baddest thing he could think of at the moment because they just shit all over his house. But, yeah, he's like, they called them savages. The fool said they could be swept aside like rubbish. And that Kyrian was burning. This is all the way to the Shining Walls, and I think the Shining Walls is a reference to Tar Valon. 100% Tarvalin, and Tarvalin is very close to Kyrian.
Kind of. It's upriver from Kyrian.
Yeah, but it's kind of close, and it sounds like they were pillaging and burning, like, for a motherfucking while. And if it really is Aiel people, the Aiel Waste is kind of a little ways away, so there's a lot to pillage and burn between the Aiel Waste and Kyrian. So, but I'm not 100%. I'm doing my best here. He's talking about this fucking tree. So, Avendasora said it makes no seed, but they brought a cutting to Kyrian, a sapling, a royal gift of wonder for the king. They never make peace, never, but they brought a sapling as a sign of peace. 500 years it grew, 500 years of peace with those who make no peace with strangers. Why did he cut it down? Why? Blood was the price for Avendorla. I don't know how to...
Avendolodera.
There's an R in there. There's 2 R's.
Avendorladera.
Avendorladera. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, for whatever the fuck reason, this Lalon person cut down this fucking, like, hella important sacred tree, peace treaty bullshit, and brought the fury of the Aiel fucking people down on a lot of motherfucking people. And that's how Ram's lovely mother ended up dying and giving birth in the snow. Somehow, is what it sounds like. So it sounds like he's, as, what the fuck is his name? Tom Marilyn mentioned that he could be, as tall as an Aielman or something like that. And as a Gleeman, who seems well-traveled and is highly secretive, he may very well have seen actual Aielmen in his life, and could say with some accuracy that Rand indeed looks like a fucking Aielman, which might yet be another reason why he's, like, interested in this motherfucker. I don't know if he overheard the conversation about it. I don't think he could have. No, maybe. So, hold on. There's a lot. I haven't even finished this fucking chapter, and I can't stop. Okay, this makes me even... Sorry, I'm obsessed with Tom Marilyn, so I'm gonna, like, conspiracy theorize about him for a second here. So, you might very well know what an actual Aiel looks like, and be like, Rand, you look awfully fucking weird compared to these other motherfuckers. And when Nynaeve comes to the fucking,
Stag and Lion?
To the Stag and the Lion, she pulls Rand aside after their deeply uncomfortable meeting with everybody, and was like, you know, Maureen was asking if any of you had been born outside the fucking village, and she was like, it's none of her goddamn business. But when she does that, before she says anything, she thought that she saw something in the doorway.
Yeah, there's mention of Rand thought he saw a shadow at the end of the hall or something.
It's... close. He thought he saw something move at the still open door, but they were alone in the hallway. So everybody started leaving the room. So, let's see. Egwene, take the others and leave the wisdom alone with me. So Maureen and Nynaeve were in the room talking alone together. Everybody else had left. Lon pulled Tom out basically himself, but Tom just said that, like, muttered something about better things to do. So I don't know what Tom is capable of. I don't know if he's capable of making himself invisible, or doing some kind of trick, or just concealing himself well, or anything at all. Or if it's Lon. I guess I didn't even think about that, because Lon has a scary, like, fucking...
Warder cloak?
Yeah, his little warder invisibility cloak. Or Moiraine, because spooky magic. So I guess it could be any of those 3, technically, but Tom's the shady fuck that drew the 2 stupidest Emmons Fielders onto a boat with himself. The craziest and the stupidest. And, I don't know, that just seems like could just be a coincidence that he came upon those 2, and they all just left together, kind of like most everything was... The flight from Shattered Logoth wasn't particularly planned or well orchestrated, obviously. But, I don't know. Tom is a clever and suspicious person, and I don't know what he's capable of. So I'm wondering if he did that on purpose, and he wants to stick by Rand specifically because he overheard that conversation.
About Rand being born outside the 2 rivers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because even though Nynaeve was, like cagey about the whole thing, like, Rand mentioned what Tam had said,
right, yeah.
And even though Nynaeve is, like, has an unfortunate inclination towards denial, or not looking too hard at unpleasant things, even if she doesn't outright deny them. Tom's smarter than that.
Yeah.
He's been around a bit. So, I don't know. And so are Lon and Warren. So, depending on things for that. So, I don't know.
And so, you're interested in what the Tinkers are saying because, like...
Well, I haven't gotten, like... I'm not super deep into this conversation, but Rain was like, so I have a story, Elias, that interests me. It might interest you, too. And Egwene has already been run off with fucking Aram.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing whatever the fuck they're doing. Dancing. Or...
Fucking.
And, yeah, like I said, I haven't really read all the way into that conversation. I was just, like, putting some shit together when he was talking, when Elias was talking about who can go into the waste, basically. And,
right.
He was saying that merchants from Kyrian used to before the tree in the Aiel War, so I was, like, just kind of, like, glued onto, like, the tree because I had known about a reference to a tree causing some pretty intense consequences, so I figured that that was what it was, and that the Aiel War was a reference to whatever the fuck Lamont did, or why he would cut down this fucking special tree and give offense to, like, a non-peaceful people that had made peace for some fucking reason with them for, like, I don't know if they had, like, rough history or something, but 500 years peace is a lot to throw away to chop down a motherfucking tree that seems to be valuable. But in any case, I just, like, anytime I come across something that I've, like, when I'm reading, and I've thought that I've heard something about it before, I'll, like, try my best to remember where I read it and go back and reference it. That's one of the reasons it's taking me so long, because, like, when I do read, it'll take me forever to get through a chapter, because I'm like, oh, and this is a reference to this, and this is a reference to this, let me double check that on the map, and it's just sort of like, I read thoroughly.
Yeah, no, you're great. Okay, well.
So, I need to finish this conversation. Yep. I'm almost done with this chapter.
Yeah, you fucking read.
So, I only have a couple pages left, and then I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more interesting things to say about the end of this chapter, because this conversation is not short.
Okay, well, you go.
And then Whitebridge is next. That's the one that you were excited for, right?
That's the one I want you to read through, yeah.
Alrighty.
And of course, Abby had further thoughts and feelings about the Tinkers, which I do have recorded, but I'm not going to add here because I wanted to move on to Whitebridge, since Abby has long had a deep, deep suspicion and mistrust for Tom Marilyn, and that coupled with her not exactly hatred of Rand and Matt, but her feeling that they are A, not very interesting, and B, incredibly stupid. She has long felt that this trio is generally a disaster, and so I was very interested to see how her feelings about Tom would change once he sacrifices himself for Rand and Matt, and also just desperately eager for her to keep reading so that Rand and Matt would finally get interesting. So here is Abby, finally having read through Whitebridge, and sorry it's not a clean read-in, it kind of cuts into her talking about trauma, I think because she got excited and started talking before I could whip out my phone and start recording. So it goes. But I hope you enjoy.
But yeah, this chapter showed some of the results of the trauma of the whole ordeal of this whole adventure wearing on him, and it's already changed him dramatically. Like, Rand's like, you haven't laughed in days, because he hasn't. He's wary, and he's doubtful. He's not trusting anymore.
Yeah, he learned.
He did learn. And it kind of, like, gutted him. So it's, like, a really bad sort of learning. I hope that, like, at some point he'll come to terms with it better, so he can feel like a sort of whole person again, because I'm sure he feels a little, like, he probably feels a little bit wrung out and sort of, like, unsure of who he even is right now. Because there was a way that he was, and now that way is over. His old self is dead.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, him and Rand both, like, especially Matt, was trusting of Tom, and Tom tells the story about his fucking nephew Owen, and he's like, do you believe that story, Rand? He's just, like, doubting everything and trying to face up to reality, and it comes off as him, at least to Rand, as being negative, but he's trying to be realistic for the first time in his life, and I think maybe the problem with that is his only encounter with realism is negativity. I'm time too, but like, yeah, Matt is a different fucking person, and he's already more tolerable because he's making an effort to take this a little bit more seriously, to act like a fucking grown-up. And even though that's kind of sad and depressing because you don't want to watch his fucking spirit be crushed, it's, you know, he has this like lovely like childlikeness about him that doesn't serve in this situation. Rand is a giant baby, so it's sort of like, you know, as much as he obsesses over Egwene needing help, of all the people that need fucking help, he needs the most at this point. Because he's like, he's scared and confused, and he's also still not that smart, and yeah.
It's refreshing to see Matt have some, like, self-preservation, or sense of self-preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being hunted is like, it's officially worn him down into a different sort of person.
No.
So... Oh, also, I just wanted to say the White Bridge itself is fucking cool as hell.
Right?
So, that's pretty fucking neat. I'm imagining, like, a sort of, like, almost like a marble bridge, like... Oh, there was something I wanted to check, but I need my phone. Okay, I thought so. So I thought this was a fun little tidbit. I think this was intentional. I don't remember if I've already said this or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. Florin Gelb. Gelb is the German word for yellow.
Huh.
And yellow is commonly associated with
cowardice.
Like, cowardice, and so he's like, and Florin, like florid or flowery. So I wonder if it's supposed to be like either like a sideways, almost like one of the old school kind of like homophobic sort of things, or a reference to being maybe like lily-livered or something like that. Flower, lily, you know, something like that. So, but yeah, I thought that was clever. I noticed it like when they first introduced him as being like cowardly, but I wanted to double check and make sure that I was remembering that Gelb is the word for yellow.
Well, I didn't know that. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep. A little tidbit there.
So, what did you think about Tom's nephew?
I don't know what to think exactly yet. Owen, if he exists, if his brother exists, it's the first bit of personal information that you learn about him at all. Because I think that previously the only thing said was that he came to Emmons Field by way of Barlon, and that's literally all that you know about him. Except that, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fucking confusing ass vibes in this whole chapter regarding Tom Maryland. So it's like, I don't know if I believe his story. I still absolutely don't have any idea about his motivations. I could be dead wrong, but I don't think he's dead. I could be dead wrong. I don't want to sound like Rand in the face of reality, but sort of like, I don't know that he's never gonna show up again, or even if he doesn't, he could end up having been a player, like a bigger player or something like that, for another reason or more involved and stuff, because he's got history, and I know that not everything is gonna, like, you won't get closure on, like, everything, but it seems kind of like, I don't know, there's a lot there. But he could just be dead, so it is a trope to, like, have,
the mentor die? Yeah,
so he's kind of an unorthodox one in a strange way, but he did split off, and so at least in a small, like, you know, as it's only part of the group of the main characters, like, he did fill in the, like, mentoring old man role, and so it's common for them to die, but usually they have a presence later on. If you think about Obi-Wan coming back as, like, a fucking Force ghost or whatever later, or Gandalf as Gandalf the White, like, that is super common, or at the very least, like, their history plays into the whole course of a story or something like that, or they're intrinsically tied to the events that happen even after they've gone. So I don't think so. Even if he is dead, I don't think that he will never have relevance again. The Murdrail found them ridiculously fucking fast. Florin Gelb's an asshole, by the way.
Oh yeah,
asshole. There's just a lot. There's a lot. And so something sort of interesting, I don't know if this is just a Murdrail thing or a Murdrail water weapon thing, but the blue light and the clangs, I don't know if that's just from the scary black swords or if that's what happened when a special water blade clashes with a Myrtle sword, because, like, I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to fantasy novels, and it's sort of like Tom had a second set of daggers after the ones that he had lost, like, fucking chucking them at Trollocs.
Yeah.
And they were fleeing Shatter Logoth, and he said that they were his good daggers, but...
Like his second best set of knives.
Or maybe, yeah, that's what he said. So, what are his first ones? And it's sort of like...
Yeah, it's like speculation, are they power rot?
That's kind of what I was wondering, and it's sort of like water blades have got to be fucking special, like, because waters are special, and it just seems the sort of thing. And I wondered if his were special too, or, like, because I've wondered a little bit if he used to have, like, stronger ties to, like, if perhaps, like, he seems awfully capable and spry for such an old person, and I just sort of wonder if maybe, like, he used to be a warder or somehow got hold of a warder weapon. I don't know how. I guess they, technically, if his Aes Sedai died, then he would have died too, though. I guess that's what Moiraine made it sound like, or at least that they would know about it, I guess. I don't know. But I sort of had, like, this little image of, like, you know, like, Aragorn's father's sword being, like, shattered, having all the little pieces, and, like, maybe, like, Tom making, like, daggers out of broken fucking water sword bits or something like that. I have no idea. So, yeah, I wonder if he has, like, special magic daggers or something. Is he screaming because he got stabbed, or is he screaming because his fucking eardrums just got blown out by the giant-ass clang? Is he screaming because he got severely wounded or whatever? I have no idea. Is he screaming because he literally just got murdered? Fucking killed? I got no idea.
I don't know, is he running up to the Myrtle and being like...
That was pretty suicidal.
Well, I mean, but if you just run up to the Myrtle and are like, you know, okay, let's do this, you know, and then, like, scream, what if he's a Dark Frond?
I fucking literally don't even know. Also, I sort of get the... Maybe this is wrong, but I sort of have the impression that Myrtle cares so little for people that they wouldn't hesitate to kill a dark friend to make things look good. Because they just seem like cold bastards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It could have been, and I mean, was his scream like a scream, or was his scream like a fucking, like, ah! Like, kind of war cry sort of scream? Could have been both. Could have been either. He's fucking, like, old and gruff, and I don't know what his pain screams sound like versus his war cry screams, because I'm guessing that these days they're not super intimidating war screams. But yeah, I don't know. I feel I'm doubting every idea I had about him. I have lots more ideas about him, and probably all of them are wrong, and I just have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have a lot of questions. So it's just like trying to think about things. Like, I'm not asking for answers.
No, I know.
Things. I'm just like I'm wondering why he made such a show of himself in Baerlon, and then they get to Whitebridge, and he's like, we need to hide, but he's supposed to be smart. So the fact that he didn't think to hide his cloak, the fact that he, like, didn't make more of an effort to conceal himself if he knew that concealing himself was the right thing to do, that's a little bit sus. And it's sort of like, I don't know if he's just, like, lost his nerve or got, like, obviously not if he's running headfirst in a Myrtle, but it's sort of like, I don't know if he's, like, flustered or something. I don't know. It just seems like sort of, he seems very all over the place. Like, he's making sure to keep on with their fucking Gleeman training, even though it's supposed to just be like a cover. And they were like, Rand and Matt were like questioning him on why bother to plow on with it, especially because Matt apparently is a dreadful flute player. And then he's like making all sorts of different suggestions, like, let's go to Ilion, let's fucking, you know, he found out, like, he keeps trying to change his plan as the circumstances change, and none of them feel like they make terribly great sense. Also, I was very proud of Rand for insisting on, like, he stood up for himself like a motherfucker, because I would have expected that he would have pretty much just folded to whatever Tom wanted to do, because Rand hardly knows what he's doing, but he's sufficiently fucking scared at this point that he, like, needs to know what's going on with him, and I'm really glad. So, good for Rand, standing up for himself. That's the most backbone I think he's shown in the entire fucking series so far.
Yeah.
Or book, first book. Still, that was the most backbone I think I've seen from Rand. He is fucking scared. And that little incident on the mast, like, in conjunction with all of his dreams and stuff. The fact that he still hasn't suspected, or I guess maybe he has suspected and just it hasn't said, but the fact that he hasn't obviously suspected that he's been using the one power is kind of like...
I think that's one of those things
seems
where...
really dumb.
He would never suspect it because it's so horrible that it's like he'd be in denial about it unless he did something really obvious to himself.
I guess he wasn't there for the conversation about what it does to you. That was just between Moiraine, Lon, and Nynaeve.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So I guess he'd have no reason to suspect it. Tom might know what's happening.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he knows anything anymore, but... yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Tom seems desperate to both evade the merge rule and, like, Tar Valon and all the Aes Sedai, supposedly because something happened to his only living kin.
Well, what were Min's visions about Tom?
I don't remember. I remember juggling and... Right, okay, so juggling fire specifically, but not him. A man, not him, juggling fire and the White Tower. And that doesn't make any sense at all for a man. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that I sort of have like vague suspicions that he might have been like a warder or been the family member of a warder or something like that. So I guess another possible thing, if you're going that route, could be that possibly, I don't know how warders are chosen, but maybe Owen was a warder and he died in an Aes Sedai service, and so he fucking has like a grudge against Aes Sedai or something for that. If Owen is in fact a real person. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, something along those lines would sort of make sense, since it did seem like Moiraine and him recognized each other in a sense. When she came there, she kind of zeroed in on him. And I don't know if she recognized him, if she was able to sense something in him, or if he looked slightly familiar, like he might have been kin of somebody whose face she was familiar with, or something like that. I have no idea exactly, but she did seem oddly knowing about him. But also let him come with them. So it's just like, there's a lot, and I can't make predictions about everything.
No.
Because I'll just lose my fucking mind.
You can't have that.
But, yeah, with the juggling fire, it could be that one of his relatives was a false dragon, or could channel, and maybe that's why he seems to have a little extra something, is maybe he's related to somebody who could channel, and so it gives him a little boost or something. I have no idea, but the juggling fire thing, it's sort of like the men who can channel are stronger in fire is one of their powers, so I don't know if that might have something to do with it, or if it has something to do with Balsamon, because, you know, fire with him too. So, I don't know. Fire means lots of things.
I was excited for you to read that chapter, because I'm like, this will give her a million more questions about Tom.
Oh, God. So many.
But I'm also glad that you noticed progress in both Rand and Matt, because...
I guess not as much, or not as dramatic progress in Rand. The change in Matt was dramatic and sudden.
No, but the fact that you were like, Rand stood up for himself, because I was expecting you to go on a tirade about, oh my god, now these motherfuckers are gonna be together on their own, and we're gonna have to deal with that bullshit.
No, they're different now.
Alright.
So, Matt's now the grown-up in this situation, which scares the fuck out of me, but it seems like he's got his shit together almost more than Matt does, but I think that...
You mean more than Rand does?
Or, sorry, yeah, more than Rand does. But where they're both kind of at mentally, and the fact that they want to survive, they want to get along, and they want to be decent for the sake of getting along, I think that they'll end up coming to, while they travel together, for the time, you know, keep traveling together. Like, that they'll come to, like, a place of being able to work well together and play well off of each other, because they just went through a lot of shit. And now they get to have, like, a whole-ass crash course in trying to fucking be okay together. Also, helpfully, something that, like, just occurred to me, is that they are fleeing towards Caemlyn, and they have all of Tom's equipment. He's been training them to be Gleeman, so they have, like, a disguise ready to fucking go if they need to. They could one of them could strap on his fucking cloak and keep the flute the fuck away from Matt and, like, do Gleeman things, like, if they absolutely need to, or even just pretending to gain entry to places or to get friendly service or something like that, because it seems like people take pretty well to Gleeman. I don't know if they would want to do that at this point, since, like, Gleeman was being hunted, but a Murdrell just attacked and possibly killed or injured or conspired with Tom Marilyn, so they wouldn't be hunting a Gleeman if there's any kind of communication happening. Also, I thought it was really nice that Rand was like, they can't all be dead, otherwise they wouldn't still be hunting them. That was a very excellent deduction on the fly when he's in a panic. I was like, good on you for trying to stay fucking positive, and also that was really realistic. That was smart.
Excellent reasoning, Rand.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm so proud. Because, like, yeah, I feel like Matt is probably in a really dark place right now, and Rand is being sort of dragged more towards reality by Matt's sort of sour view on things right now, but Rand is also pulling Matt slightly away from just,
hopelessness,
falling into hopelessness, and so it's like I feel like they'll balance each other out in a way. Yeah. So this I find kind of interesting. So going back to Min's little predictions, I feel like these are going to play a role for like a while. I expected that they would play more of a, like that they would, some of these things would only be made obvious like towards the end of the series, and that might be the case for like Rand, but some of these are like coming up like crazy. Like Matt's sort of like a red eagle, an eye on a balance scale, a dagger with a ruby, a horn, and a laughing face. So there's a number of those that are already being, at least, like, the unraveling of these have already begun. So, the Red Eagle, he was yelling out words during their little battle with it was terrible, their battle with the Murdrell and the Trollocs.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking old, like, basically, like, the Cry of Manetheren.
Cry on Caldazar.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck, I can't remember what it means.
For the honor of the Red Eagle.
That. And, yeah, so that automatically ties Matt sort of to the Red Eagle, and however that plays out, like, that's already gotten rolling. That's a thing that's been, like, partially alluded to at this point. And an eye on a balance scale, I'm wondering if that might have something to do with the Eye of the World. I don't know, because I don't know what the Eye of the World is, or if there's a symbol for it, or what the symbol is. Because I'm not sure what it is. But I wonder if that might have something to do with it. Dagger with a ruby, that's pretty fucking obvious. He's carrying around Mordeth's possibly cursed, really sketchy dagger. I'm still a little worried about that thing. Like, maybe it's fine because he just grabbed it, wasn't offered to him, or whatever. He took it in sort of a panic, but I'm a little bit worried about that fucking thing. A horn, I'm guessing that this is the horn of Valir. Not 100%. But pretty sure, especially because, like, the next fucking book
is called The Great Hunt.
It's called The Great Hunt. Yeah, The Great Hunt for the Horn is what I'm guessing that, or at least part of it might have to do with, because it's obviously mentioned over and over and over again. And
the next book is one of my favorites.
And I would guess that the Horn is not, in fact, a legend, and that Matt is gonna be somehow involved in that, whether he, like, hunts for it, or finds it, or comes into contact with people who hunt the Horn, or I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but to do with Ilion and the Horn of Valir at some point. Don't know for sure. But that's, like, their big thing down in Ilion, according to Tom. So, I don't know why. Is Valir, like, used to be Ilion or something like that? I have no idea. Okay. And a laughing face. That could mean, I don't know, lots of things. That could have something to do with his sort of innate sense of fun and humor. It could have to do with him being a Gleeman, or using that as a disguise, or any number of things that I can't figure out at this point. Yeah, I don't know. But some of these things have already been, like, alluded to a bit. I think the interesting thing is that Min doesn't mention any particular symbols or anything with the women. Like, she doesn't say anything in particular about Moiraine or Egwene, just that they have whatever demonstrates that somebody is an Aes Sedai or has the one power or something like that. She says, I see the same thing as when I look at Mistress Alice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like, but that's all. Which I don't know what that means. And I don't think she mentioned anything about Nynaeve except for the sparks that she saw around all of them when they're together.
Right.
And they're stronger now. A fucking blizzard of horrible sparks. I'm a little glad, though, that the balance of excitement has shifted a little bit, I guess. So it's like, I don't know, I was more interested in reading about Egwene and Perrin and where they were for a bit. Like, reading about Tom and Rand and Matt all together was kind of a slog because I doubt everything that is Tom, and Matt and Rand annoy the fuck out of me. But now things have changed a good deal. The enigma of Tom is out of the picture, at least for the moment. I don't know how long that's going to be, or if it's going to be for the whole ass thing, but he's gone for the moment, and Rand and Matt are now two traumatized teenagers trying to fucking adult like motherfuckers and not die. So Moiraine, Lan, and Nynaeve are all going to Whitebridge. That was their goal, was to set out for Whitebridge and to try to rendezvous with everybody there in the hopes that they would find them. Obviously, that's not going to happen since Tom is whatever he the fuck is, and Matt and Rand have run off, and Egwene and Perrin are going incredibly slow. I read the very first, page of the next chapter following Whitebridge.
Mm-hmm.
So they're with traveling people, and they're traveling very slowly. There's no, they're fucking trying to drag basically an entire town in their caravans,
Right.
Along, so it's slow going, and also they're not in a hurry. They're not going anywhere important, so it's just they're just traveling to find their fucking song, but living their fucking lives. So I can't remember exactly, but I vaguely remember reading something about how if they didn't find them in Whitebridge, they'd go on to Camelin and try to find them there, or something like that.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Okay. The Myrtle are either pursuing them or else trying to intercept us all at Whitebridge, so she predicted what the fuck would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happens that the only ones making good time were fucking Matt and Rand.
And Tom, because
And
they were on a
Tom.
boat.
Mm-hmm. So if they had been going on foot, it could have been any group of them, probably Lon and Moiraine and Nynaeve, that would have ended up there first.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they are not aimless or traveling with a large caravan or lost in the woods or what the fuck ever, so they probably would have ended up there first. But also the coins. So that's one thing that I did wonder about a little bit. So, Daman?
Yeah.
Okay. So Daman gave them back the money.
Mm-hmm.
He just gave it to them, gave them different money?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was intentional or just as simple as you throw a bunch of money together in the same purse and you go to count it back out, and it's sort of does it really matter what bills or coins you give if they're all the same amount? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was intentional, if it was on purpose, or if he did give it back and Tom kind of fucking snatched him out or something. If he's doing sketchy things still, I have no idea. But I don't know that he knows that they were tracking sort of coins or something. That would have been really fucking helpful though for them to have at this point. And that's kind of tragic and sad. I do think it's interesting and clever that those coins are only identify where they are when they are on the person that they were intended for. So it's sort of the coins might be with Daman, but Moiraine's not getting a false signal of them being wherever Daman's coins are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she knows that the people they were intended for don't have possession of them, and therefore it's sort of doesn't matter. That's a clever little trick.
I don't know.
I'm sure I'm missing something. There was a whole fucking lot. Oh, yes! One thing that I did almost forget. The crazy guy, who was also looking for them.
Oh, yeah?
I wonder if that's Bodden Fane.
Oh, yeah?
Because there's a crazy guy that came before the fucking Myrtle, and this terror of that a Myrtle brings kind of overshadowed every other part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But a crazy guy came asking for 3 down country boys, and he was kind of nutty, wouldn't hold still. I guess it could have been somebody else too, but it makes me think that it was Paddon Fane because he was acting really fucking weird and suspiciously, like, when they ran into him in Barrelon, and that I thought was a whole weird-ass thing to begin with. That interaction was weird. And it's also a small interaction, and again, though somebody, assuming that it was Paddon Fane, was mentioned, this crazy person was, like I said, overshadowed by this whole conversation about the Myrddraal, and then the flight from Whitebridge, so it's easy to kind of forget, because I almost did just forget that these things happen, and I wonder if that would be significant. Like, what the fuck? Like, if that really is him, what the fuck is he following them for? And I already had, like, plenty of suspicion. Maybe he's the one I should have been sketched out by in the first place, not fucking Tom Maryland. Like, but it just seems sort of odd that he would have made it to Barrelon, like, the way that he did, and also if he happened to follow them out. He's just been kind of... They said he was weaselly, and that's kind of like... When I think of Paddon Fane, I sort of think of, like, an Argus Filch type sort of character, except, like, rattier and slightly less unpleasant. So, I don't know.
So, Matt is, smarter, a little more bitter, a little more wary?
He's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit... Matt's arc is a little bit tragic at the moment. I mean, it needed to happen. It was a wake-up call that he needed, but it's just sort of like... It's, at least right now, he doesn't have any balance, and it feels like the joy has been leached out of his life. Rand is more serious and more practical, and Matt's bitterness is making him more willing to face up to the truth, whether he likes it or not, which is good. And now they're out on their own, and they have to make hard choices and be fucking responsible, and that's a lot of pressure.
I hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode of Podcast of the Dragon. If you like hearing my wife's thoughts on the Eye of the World and its various themes and character, please consider supporting my Patreon, where you'll have access to some form of pillow talk with pillow friends at any level. I have finally figured out how to change my Twitter handle. It only took 3 books. Believe it or not, the only reason that I was actually holding on to being the Grey Warder was because I didn't want to make a whole new Twitter handle and try to get all of my followers to follow me again, and for some reason I lacked the common sense to Google how to change my Twitter handle until I was 3 full books into the series. So, now you can find me on Twitter at Pod of the Dragon. I wanted to do Pot Dragon, but surprise, somebody had taken it already. I'm shocked. I finished reading The Shadow Rising, and I'm now taking notes for my first episode in Book 4, and I expect to release it the week before SpoilerCon, so that would be September 27th if I'm releasing them. I try to do it on Monday/late Sunday night. Provided everything goes well, it should be out then. If you are attending SpoilerCon in Portland, Oregon, that's the little convention for the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. It's the first weekend in October 1st through the 3rd. I will be there, so make sure you come and say hi. I am officially launched on YouTube. The link to my YouTube channel is in the show notes. If you would like to see a video of me reacting to the Wheel of Time on Prime teaser trailer that just got released, I've got a react video where I smile like a child. I've got a breakdown video where I go back and go over it, and I've got a couple more videos where I just look at pictures and stuff and talk about Prime. I'm basically using the medium of YouTube to just kind of kick back and discuss the show in a relaxed and fun format. So if you'd like to go and subscribe and watch my videos and give them a thumbs up if you like them, or give them a thumbs down if you don't, because any attention is better than none, I guess, for YouTube and the algorithm. I appreciate you being patient with me during my hiatus and bearing with me. It's really beneficial to me to be able to take this time off. It allows me to bring really good content to you, and just good for my general personal growth and stuff like that, because I just don't have the time or the energy to be able to do things like sit down and teach myself how to edit YouTube videos while I'm trying to, like, crank out a podcast episode every couple of weeks. I don't know why. I guess stacking levels of anxiety, procrastination, who knows? Why do we suffer the way we do? Anyway, I'm really glad to get into Book 4 and start bringing everybody episodes, and talk at you later. And I don't have a clever sign-off because I don't have a theme to do it to. So, next time. Bye-bye, everyone.